Hey, welcome to the show, Total Financial Solutions, Safer Money Hour. I'm Arif Halaby along with Jeff Gerard here talking about your family's finances. Of course, getting out of debt, managing money, planning for your future. That's what it's all about. Trying to help you manage your life when you think, plan, expect to have a pension. Could there be changes coming down the pipe? Could there be actual reductions? Oh, those promises. Oh, but Arif, you don't understand. The politicians promised. They signed the contract. Our union is strong. That's nice, but do you understand that 1 + 1 is still 2? You can feel like it's 4. You can even sign a piece of paper with Iran and call it 10, and 1 + 1 is still 2, regardless of what you really want to happen. Crooks are crooks, terrorists are terrorists. And some politicians are just kind of a combination of, I don't want to say both, but maybe at least part of it, the crook side, right? Take a look at the news. You see the corruption is there. That means any of them can sit up there and promise anything they want to you. And when they do that, what happens to the math? Does it change? Oh, I don't think it does.
No.
Because accountants are wonderful people, and they use a calculator, and they're generally very right, wrong, up, down, mathematically inclined. So what does that mean to you? Well, let's take a look at some of the top corporate pensions, Jeff. I'm Arif Halaby. That's Jeff Gerard. Total Financial Solutions, Safer Money Hour is about keeping you from losing your financial, at least losing your financial way. How about this headline published earlier this summer? The top 25 corporate pension plans alone are underfunded by $225 billion. That's with the B, billion dollars. Underfunded. That means just to handle the promises that they have made, that you guys signed, that your contract says, they are $225 billion underfunded. That's before you get a pay raise. That's before your cost of living increase. That's before any new promises they give you to get your vote. Ask the correction officers and Gray Davis in the state of California. Ask any of the state California CalPERS folks. We're talking about corporate pensions. We haven't even begun to talk about your city, county, state government pension. In the state of California, there is one pension. Jeff, did you know this? One
Just
pension
one.
That is actually funded properly.
I do know this, and it's unsuspecting, I would say, at the least.
Well, here's the challenge, folks. It is not where you think. You must go, oh, well, with all the wealth, privilege, wisdom that San Francisco, maybe the Bay Area.
Yeah.
No, it has to be Beverly Hills with all that wealth, knowledge. No, How about the city of Fresno? The city of Fresno. I laugh because you would never guess it. If I gave you 100 choices, it probably still wouldn't pop up there. The city of Fresno is the only pension in the state of California that is fully funded. In fact, it has a $300 million surplus. And you might say, oh, that's not very much. For a city that size, it's huge. Huge. So why is the city of Fresno? Here's the reason. Because years ago, they reduced the benefits. I know for some of you and myself, it's not a good idea. We don't like that. We want all the money. We want the stuff. But you know what? You can't. So the average pensioner with the city of Fresno is going to receive just under $40,000 a year. The county, on the other hand, which is larger, has hundreds of millions of dollars upside down. Hundreds of millions upside down. Their average pensioner would receive around $60,000. So of course you want to work for the county. Of course. The ship is sinking. Grab what you can. Sign those deals. Get the pay raises. Get the pension bumps, the spikes, the last 3 years pay raises. I get it. But look, all of us want more things. I'm not any different than you. We're not any different than you. But you just have to realize that there just has to be the money there. Oh, it's those corporate greedy people. Fine. Blame them all. Blame them all. And you still have to come up with the math. 1 + 1 is still 2, guys. You're going to hear me say that probably a couple more times. If you don't want logic, reasoning, and clarity, then this is probably not the show for you. Yes, I'm a little bugged about this, because when you were 18, 19, 25 and you were given a promise, somebody sold you down the river. It was probably a politician. It could have been a union president. It could have been a shop steward. Somebody said to you that, oh, don't worry, I've got a high school education, or I went and got a degree in English, and yet I understand mathematics and pensionary quantitative accounting principles.
Those are all big words.
I don't even know if that really is something, but darn it, I'm going to say it confidently.
It's funny you bring that up, and not funny in a joking way. It's just peculiar that we had this. At least my upbringing was go to school, get a good job with good benefits. My great-grandfather was part of a union. He worked for a union he worked for several hotels under the union scenario, and he had a great pension. My great-grandmother worked for a hospital. She had a great pension. They also saved money. They were really good with savings. But that was the key to their retirement lasting as long and being as wealthy as they were in their retirement, because they saved in addition to that. And going back to your comment, Arif, I think the danger that we get of this idea that we get sold under, work for a company with great benefits for 20, 30, 40 years in some cases. Do you know how far away that is? Do you know how far out that is? How many things could change between now and then? Just look at legislation. Look at how the country's changed in 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years. And then you think one company that has company officers, owners, they're people with feelings, ideas. They want to do different things. They're going to want more money down the road. Maybe they divest of their company. Maybe they sell off some of the company, and you go, well, wait a minute. 20 years ago, you said this was the promise that you made, and now...
And there aren't too many do-overs, guys.
No,
it's
that's
not
the
as
whole
if
thing.
you're 36 years in a career when you have 3 left to retire, and you can go, oh, I'm going to start over. Boeing has 25% of its workforce is going to be retiring in the next few years. 25%. Okay, pick 4 people and one of those people retire. Who do you think has to pay that person's pension? The other 3. I predict, and I've been pretty accurate on this stuff because really it's just math, but we can wrap it in a bow and say that I'm clairvoyant, but really, I don't know if that's the right word, psychic. Clairvoyant's a little different. But for those of you that don't know, I'm right. Here's what I mean. You can go out and say in the future about what I think is going to happen, and here's what I think. You're going to go out and have a group of people, teachers, educators that are 27 years old, 34 years old, who are going to retire at 60 years old. And because the system is so upside down financially speaking, that you're going to have retired teachers going, hey man, life is good down here in Cabo. Life is good over here in Las Vegas, i.e. they do not pay any California income tax.
There you go.
Life is good over here. Oh, and by the way, you guys that are still stuck in the state not only have to pay regular tax, but you also have to pay extra into my pension system. And so I know that you're only paying 7, 8, 9, 10%, but you're going to have to pay more. Why? Well, because I like it in Cabo and Las Vegas. And, oh, by the way, did you know that you have to now work not till age 60, but 64? I think you're going to have class warfare like you've never seen it before. You're going to have police officers that when I started in the police department, I think it was 7, maybe 8% is what we had to put into our pension. Today, if they wanted to be honest about it, you'd have to put about 11% because law enforcement, just like every career, goes into cycles, right? You have guys that came in, you had a huge hiring spree like they did in 94, 95, 96. 97, you had a huge hiring spree, 1,000 officers a year for LAPD, for example.
Wow.
Well, now go out 20 years, 25 years, and what do you have? You have those guys retiring.
That's right.
Right, so you're going to have bunches of people retiring a little earlier, a little later. Some die, some work a little longer. What that means is there's going to be somebody working to pay that person's pension when it's underfunded because there just isn't enough money that's earning interest to pay that guy. So where do you think those dollars are going to come from? I think you have to have officers put in 11%. If they do that, the pension will last. And they have to invest it properly, of course. But you think they're going to do that? And do you really think as an officer you want to see an extra 3 or 4 points go out of your pocket when they haven't given you a pay raise for years? You're not going to want that.
No.
And now you're going to be ticked off when that guy comes into the station to use the ATM, or you see him at the retired association of whatever.
Right.
And you walk in and he's driving a new car and you're trying to get by with your 2 or 3 children living in an apartment. I think there's going to be class warfare. You're going to see that in educators, firefighters, police officers. You're going to see that with city workers, state workers. I think you have to. There just isn't a way to, or it has to implode. And all the contracts end and you have to start all over again. Oh, but Arif, you're so negative. Yeah, sorry. Happy Thanksgiving. That's coming up. Maybe that'll help. We're going to be back in just a second as we continue. I'm Arif Halaby along with Jeff Gerard. We're going to get into some real numbers. Let's talk about what the numbers are. Let you make an opinion on your own. It's not going to be good news. But at least you're informed. I like that. We'll be right back. I'm Arif Halaby. That's Jeff Gerard on Total Financial Solutions. Safer Money Hour on AM 1220 KHTS.